Alright, what's going on, guys? Prince here, and this has been requested of me, so I'm gonna make it now. I'm gonna go over the top 5 Bond craft essences in FGO. So, as far as craft essences go, Bond craft essences aren't that great. At least most of them aren't that great. I picked out 5 that I think are actually very good, and if you have these servants, you should try to get them. So, before we head into our top 5, I have a couple honorable mentions that I want to go over. So, these are our honorable mentions. So, first we have Gina Ko's craft essence. So, what this does is it gives 8 stars per turn and 300 health per turn as long as she's on the field. Now, the stars, very good, and the health, pretty mediocre, but it's still there. And it kind of plays into her kind of tank role. So she's going to be there for a while, healing you and giving you stars. This next one is a little bit interesting. We have Angra's Bond CE. Now Angra as a unit is horrible. He's absolutely horrible. I have him at 10-10-10. He's still horrible. But his CE gives 100% damage to all allies, or to him, against Beast class. So it's very niche, but it's there, and it also gives him guts for one time. So on paper, it's a really good CE. But unfortunately it's on a horrible servant, so that's why it's not in the top 5. So next one we have Merlin's. It increases buster performance and crit damage for the entire team as long as he's on the field. And this plays perfectly into what he does. He supports their buster performance and their crit performance, so it just kind of enhances him, and Merlin's amazing, so that's why this is here. And then this last one, I kind of just threw all Bond CEs that have like guts for one time. Because, I mean, that's always useful, like, to have guts. There is one in the top 5 that has guts, or 2 of them have guts, but they're kind of more extreme. So now we get to number 5. So, Scotty's Bond CE is, if you look at it on paper, I have what it does over there. It doesn't seem that great, but when you think about what she's trying to do, is she's trying to get quick units to loop. And for quick units to loop, you need a lot of quick performance, you need a lot of MP gain. So what this is actually doing is it's min-maxing your quick damage that you can do and your quick performance, which is going to make it much easier to loop. So you take a Scotty that doesn't have a Bond CE, there are occasions where if you don't have the Bond CE, you're not going to be able to loop. And having 2 of these is very helpful, which is why she's at number 5. You could easily look at some other craft essences, and yeah, they give bigger stats, but the fact is that this CE is on Scotty, who is the staple of quick, so that's why it's here. So, number 4, we have Hercules Bond CE. Now, maybe it's not as amazing as it used to be, but it's still, like, you have guts 3 times on top of Hercules' base guts skill. So you're going to be alive for a long time, and especially on a unit like Herc, who's going to be doing a ton of damage, you want him alive since he's a berserker, and he's going to die quickly. This is going to guarantee that he survives at least like 4 hits. So that's a couple turns for you to just rack up that huge damage. And also this CE, without the CE, Herc is not really usable at all. So the fact that this CE makes this amazing berserker like actually usable is very good. So number 3, we have one that's similar to Scotty's CE, but very different at the same time. Now these numbers are so tiny, like 10% NP gain and 10% attack, very small. But again, she's Castoria, and any bit of NP gain and attack is going to just take your team to the next level. So just imagine you have 2 of these, you have 20% extra NP gain, that's like you have another Castoria second skill on effect. So yeah, diminishing returns is a thing, but in the end, if you just get multiple of these going, you're going to be getting more NP gain, you're going to be doing more damage, and it's overall going to make arts farming even more accessible than it already is. And honestly, if you are using a Castoria team, odds are you already have her at Bond rank 10, so just use the CE. It doesn't hurt. Like, what else are you gonna put on her? Okay. Number 2. We have Summer Kiara's craft essence. Now, this is the second gut skill that I have here. Just look at that. One time guts that revives you with full HP, and it stacks with other guts. So she already has a gut skill, so if you pop that, this is still going to go off after that. So she's going to be living for a long time, especially with that 100% HP. Now, I was debating not putting this here for that demerit right there. Decrease the max HP of allied units by 1,000. But if you really think about it, you're sacrificing 2,000 HP for potentially, like, I don't know, 15k HP or whatever, however much she has. So you're going to be getting a bigger return. And guts is always an important skill to have, especially for survivability. So, and her kit is based around her surviving as long as possible so she can get those buff stacks going. So overall, I think this is actually a pretty solid pick for number 2, just because of the guts alone, maybe. So now we move on to number 1, and number 1's kind of a toss-up. There are 2 servants. I'll just go to it now. So I have Van Gogh here with her Bond CE. Now the other contender is Super Orion, who has the exact same CE as this. So I'm sure there are other servants that have the similar Bond CE, but the reason why I think these 2 stand above the rest is because, one, that these servants are made to generate stars and produce huge crit damage, and the more I use Van Gogh, the more I think that she might even be better than Orion in most situations, but this is not a discussion for this video. Maybe later. So both of these Bond CEs, they give 8 crit stars per turn, and then 15 critical damage for everyone on the field. Now, this plays in perfectly to what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be generating stars, doing crit damage. Orion and Van Gogh are probably the best crit servants in the game. So their Bond CE playing perfectly into that is just amazing. So that's why it is the number 1 CE. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and maybe I'll do more top 5s in the future, maybe like command codes, mystic codes, all those different things. So see you.